As you're aware, a federal judge has lifted the protective order of the surveillance video evidence that's part of a civil suit seeking monetary damages in the officer-involved shooting of Mr. Fardoon Nahad. A protective order was stipulated to, and until now, the video has been protected from disclosure by agreement of the parties in the civil matter. The lifting of that order was stayed for 7 days for all parties to determine if they were going to appeal the decision. We respect the court's decision to now allow this video to become public. The civil lawsuit against the City of San Diego, brought by the family of Mr. Nahad, is completely separate from the District Attorney's Office review, which was completed, as you know, last month. During our review, we did not release the video because we had a legal duty not to do anything that could prejudice a potential jury in a criminal trial. In a criminal trial, there are constitutional rights of a potential defendant. That must be protected because a defendant faces the loss of liberty. He can go to prison, which is different than in a civil case. Once we made our decision not to file criminal charges, we gave deference to the federal protective order, which was stipulated by the parties and ordered by the court not to release the video. In addition, we deferred release due to an ongoing federal investigation by the FBI that we became aware of. All evidence in the possession of the San Diego Police Department and the District Attorney's Office was turned over to the U.S. Attorney and the FBI before our decision was made. But now, in view of the federal judge's decision to release the video, we all respect that order. As you know, the City Attorney and the Mayor of San Diego have announced the city's decision not to appeal, and we understand the federal judge's order will not be appealed by any of the parties. While the protective order as to the parties remains in place for several more hours, the District Attorney's Office is not a party to the civil suit and therefore is not legally bound by the order. The bottom line is this: the reasons for us to withhold the video have all been satisfied. Therefore, we will responsibly release the surveillance video in question. Today, we're going to take several steps further than just releasing the video. We will also be releasing body-worn camera evidence, video from additional surveillance cameras, enhanced surveillance video used as part of our investigation, still frames from videos, a transcript of the dispatcher officer communication before, during, and after the shooting. We're doing this to help put the video surveillance that was the subject of the protective order and only one piece of the evidence into perspective with other relevant information. Now that the video will be made public in the domain of the public, the community will have a chance to view it repeatedly. It will be scrutinized in detail by the media and the general public. But viewing the video alone provides an incomplete picture of what happened that night. And I hope the media will help aid the public in seeing the whole picture, not just one piece of it. The community should have the ability to weigh the video alongside other evidence that provides a more complete picture of what happened. To that end, I'm going to show several videos this morning that help provide the context, and we will provide the media with copies of these videos at the conclusion of the news conference. It's our hope that this will provide a far more complete picture of the events that led up to the shooting, some of which influenced the officer's state of mind. First, I want to show you a still frame from another video surveillance camera in the alley where the shooting took place, which set a series of actions in motion leading to the officer's arrival. An employee of the adult bookstore had gone into the area behind the business and encountered Mr. Nihad. While it's difficult to make out, Mr. Nihad can be seen on this still frame running towards the employee. And so I'm going to come over and just show you that Mr. Nihad is up on the top and the employee is down in the bottom, circled. As you can tell, they're both circled. The video is very grainy, but it supports the employee's statements to the investigators. 6 minutes later, Mr. Nihad entered the bookstore. On this security camera video, you can see him walk up to the cash register and threaten an employee. An employee who was also stocking shelves later told investigators he believed Mr. Nihad had a knife. That encounter led to a 911 call from the bookstore employee who told the dispatcher Mr. Nihad had a knife and was threatening people. At 12:01 a.m., Mr. Nihad is seen behind a business hiding a knife sheath in between a sack of sandbags. This is a photo of the knife sheath that was recovered at the scene. 2 minutes after hiding the knife sheath, Mr. Nihad walked up to the entrance of a nearby strip club. The video shows him approaching the bouncer and pulling what appears to be the tip of a knife out of his pocket. The doorman stated to detectives that Nihad showed him a knife, showed the tip, and put it back in his pocket. Now you're about to see the video evidence that's been the subject of the federal judge's protective order. As you can imagine, and as a warning, this video is graphic and difficult to watch. As you view the video, a few things need to be kept in mind. The original surveillance video does not contain any audio, so you will not hear anything from the officer. In order to get a better sense, though, during our investigation of the events leading up to the shooting, we synchronized San Diego Police Department radio dispatch communications with the video. On this version of the video, you'll hear radio communications to officers in the field about a 417, which means a person threatening with a weapon, and in this instance, a knife. You'll hear dispatchers repeatedly describing the situation as a hot call. In other words, this was an immediate threat, and that the suspect was armed with a knife. In fact, the radio traffic shows Officer Browder heard multiple times that the suspect was armed with a knife before he arrived at the scene. At one point, you'll hear a tone played. It's a signal to all officers that there's an immediate threat and they should refrain from using radio communications unless absolutely necessary. The video shows how quickly this incident unfolded. Mr. Nahad appears at the top of the screen as he enters the alley. Officer Browder fired his weapon 32 seconds after driving into the alley. Evidence shows that Mr. Nahad was approximately 17 feet from the officer. That was arrived at by using the video. Investigators were able to determine the distance more accurately. The officer fires one shot. Immediately afterwards, he begins rendering first aid to Mr. Nahad.
Conversation recorded on April 30th, 2015 at 0:06 on Channel 4.
611 Baker, 611 John, a 417 coming in as a hot call. Repeat, 3203 Hancock at the Highlight Bookstore. Both units are showing en route. Sergeant 10-4 on this hot call.
625 Sam, I'm 10-4. On that 616 Sam, is en route.
625 10-4. Canine monitoring. I have a couple more units on the air. Any with her?
27, are you looking for Doc?
27 Nora, affirmative. 417 at 3203 Hancock with a knife.
En route.
10-4. Any other units would wanted to volunteer for this call?
Mr. John.
10-4.
611 Baker from OB.
611 Baker, 10-4 from OB.
613 John, I'm right behind 611 Rock.
10-4.
Able, what's right? What do you have?
Able, I have a 417-3203 Hancock Street. It's at the Highlight Bookstore. It's with a knife.
15 John, I'm going to be from Camino del Rio West and Sports Arena.
10-4 from Camino del Rio West at Sports Arena.
Urban's a hot call on Hancock Street. The male with the knife was Asian or Hispanic male, 50 to 60 years old, gray sweater, red shirt underneath. He was last seen outside of the store, possibly behind. They have him on camera too, but he doesn't know where he is now.
And Able, did you want to go on this hot call?
Able from moving around.
Able, 10-4 news.
625 Sam, was that 417 to the employee of the store or just a random person?
Looks like it says the employee is advising that the male in the back lot was threatening people with a knife. So it looks like the RP is the employee that's as a witness.
10-4, so at this point we don't have a victim.
Negative.
15 John, I'm going 97.
10-497 on Hancock.
611 John, 613 John from Kurtz and Camino del Rio West.
10-4 from Kurtz and Camino del Rio West.
And I believe the RP was also threatened on this, and he still doesn't have any idea where he is right now.
Ask him, is it going to be right next to the left girl?
Here he comes on the video now.
And they are next to Lake Girls.
Okay, what's the guy wearing again? Ask him, is it going to be right next to the left girl?
And and they are next to Lake Girls.
Okay, what's the guy wearing again?
The suspect was wearing a gray sweater with a red shirt underneath. He's 50 to 60 years old, Asian or Hispanic male.
Okay, I got him in the alley.
615 John, with them in the alley. We're going to be keeping emergency traffic on Hancock.
Shots fired, shots fired. Code 4, send an ambulance.
10-4, shots fired. Needed an ambulance.
Sam, if you can put me on it, and I'm en route.
615 Sam, 10-4. Continuing emergency traffic on Hancock.
Five, 625 Sam, can we raise the officer on the air, please?
615 John. Unit 615 John.
We're going 97. Looks like he might be busy treating the wounded here. It looks like there's a few officers here 97 with him also.
So 615 John, possibly treating the wounded.
Six-five Sam, do you have enough units there, please?
Able?
When asked later what he believed would have happened if he had not fired at Mr. Nahad, Officer Browder replied, "He was going to stab me. There's no doubt in my mind that he was going to stab me." There were 3 independent witnesses to the shooting, and they're located on this still video. So here we have witness here, the witness here, and the witness here. They were independent witnesses to the shooting. They are located on the video still. 2 witnesses told investigators they believed Mr. Nahad was holding a knife. 2 witnesses also told investigators they heard the officer demand that the suspect drop the knife. The 3rd witness said he believed he heard the officer tell Mr. Nahad to stop. The video shows Mr. Nahad walking directly toward the officer with a shiny object in his hand. Indeed, he actually crossed over from one side of the alley to the other side of the alley to head directly towards Officer Browder. This is the pen that Mr. Nahad was holding. Because it's difficult to see how he manipulated the pen, we enhanced the video for our investigation. This video is a magnified view of Mr. Nahad's right hand twirling the object. As you can see, Mr. Nahad constantly manipulated the item, twirling it in his hand and holding his arm at a 90-degree angle. It's important to remember that the view from this video was from a camera that was mounted up on a pole, so it doesn't provide us with the exact view of what the officer saw. In the video, Mr. Nahad rotated the object in a manner consistent with opening and closing what's known as a butterfly knife. This is what a butterfly knife looks like. As you can see, it's similar to a metallic pen. I'm not going to open it. We're going to show you a video. Law enforcement is trained to recognize this weapon and how it's manipulated. I'm sure many of us may not be familiar with this kind of knife and how it's used. So here's a video that demonstrates how someone might manipulate the knife. In addition, for comparison, I want to show you a couple of other items. One is a letter opener, and one is a penknife. And one is another tool with a sharp object at the end. As we stated in discussing our review of the shooting last month, the video only shows Mr. Nahad slowing down as he approaches the officer, but never coming to a stop. I realize that this point has been disputed by others who have observed the video. However, an enhanced version of the video shows Mr. Nahad's left foot lifting off the ground as he continued walking at the exact time the officer fired. In this enhanced frame-by-frame video, you will see a light on the officer's gun go on, and then the muzzle flashes as he fires. And at that moment, you will see that Mr. Nahad's foot is lifting off the ground. The final video that I'd like to share is a video of another officer who is responding, his own body-worn camera. This video is also very disturbing, but it is equally powerful. You'll see another officer driving in his patrol car, responding to the dispatcher's call. You'll once again hear the radio traffic. As you saw on the surveillance video evidence, the officer who fired the fatal shot immediately ran to Mr. Nahad and began performing first aid. This body-worn camera video shows Officer Browder asking for gauze in an attempt to stop the bleeding. As I said, this video is disturbing, but it's an example of the kind of body-worn camera evidence that the media would like routinely released. Out of respect for Mr. Nahad's family, we are blurring his face and only showing a portion of the video.
Okay, what's the guy wearing again?
The suspect was wearing a gray sweater with a red shirt underneath. He's 50 to 60 years old. Asian or Hispanic male.
Okay, I got him in the alley.
6:15 on with an in the alley. We're going to be keeping emergency traffic on Hancock.
Shots fired, shots fired. Code 4, send an ambulance.
10-4, shots fired. Get an ambulance.
Can you put me on it? I'm en route.
Hurry up, okay.
Here, give me some gauze. Hurry up.
Okay.
Hurry up. Hurry up, give me some gauze. Hurry up, I gotta pack them. Hurry up.
Hold on, give me some gauze. Do you have any on you?
I have some on me.
I got my tourniquet. You want that?
Hurry up.
want this? Huh? I got it. No, I need some gas! Let me see if I got some. Hold on.
Looks like he might be busy treating the wounded here. It looks like there's a few officers here. I can with them also.
This is just hostage treating the wounded.
What isn't included in this portion of the video is Officer Browder holding his finger inside the bullet wound to stop the bleeding. Officer Browder is also seen and heard comforting Mr. Nahad. And you'll see what's circled over here is the pen where it was located, where the officer arrived. I've never held a news conference like this before. I've not provided video evidence like this to the media. As prosecutors, we continue to have a duty to protect the integrity of our investigations and prosecutions by not releasing evidence like this pending investigation and determination of whether criminal charges should be filed, and if they are filed, released in a court of law as evidence. But I also recognize that times have changed. The constitutional rights of defendants must be protected, and all law enforcement wants to be part of the solution to balance those rights with the public's desire to view this kind of video. We live in a world where all kinds of video evidence is becoming more prevalent, and it's being shared in ways that go viral in minutes. When and how that happens, though, needs a wider discussion with stakeholders and the public. Amid a climate of intense police officer scrutiny by communities in cities across the nation, and amid public and media calls for the immediate release of video evidence like this, we clearly need to reevaluate when and how this kind of video is responsibly released. San Diego PD has only been wearing body cameras for about a year, and while the department has been on the forefront, the program has only been in place for a short time. All law enforcement within San Diego County and the nation are grappling with these issues. This is not a simple task. In San Diego County, by the end of next year, nearly all officers will have body-worn cameras, and the controversy that comes with them isn't going away. That's why Sheriff Gore, Chief Zimmerman, and U.S. Attorney Laura Duffy and our office have already begun convening a working group with the Police Chiefs and Sheriffs Association to update a protocol. I want to thank them for their leadership in this regard. A part of the consideration must be the multiple reviews that take place following an officer-involved shooting. That includes the investigation of the shooting itself for criminal purposes, the administrative review by Internal Affairs, our district attorney review, potentially the FBI, and citizen review boards. This will be a joint protocol for investigation and review of officer-involved shootings as it relates to the disclosure of video evidence and the most efficient and expeditious handling of these cases so as not to cause a delay. We recognize that there are situations where it might not be appropriate or responsible to release body-worn video. As prosecutors, our legal and ethical duty, according to the Code of Professional Standards in California, is not to do anything that would jeopardize the integrity of an investigation or prejudice a criminal case. However, we also recognize that video evidence can aid the public in understanding why and how an officer-involved shooting occurred. There must be an appropriate balance, and we would ask the community's patience as we continue to work through these very difficult issues. Finally, as I've mentioned previously, at the time of his death, Mr. Nahad was living on the streets and suffered from mental health issues. In light of the fact that an estimated 50% of people who are shot by peace officers in the United States are mentally ill, and many also who commit crimes are mentally ill or have substance abuse problems. We are also hopeful that part of the discussion that's generated by the release of these videos will be about how to better help the homeless who suffer from mental illness in San Diego County. In addition to the videos, we're providing you with a copy of the letter our office delivered to the San Diego Police Department summarizing our review of the incident. As you know, it contains many more details about what we are legally mandated to consider during our review, the evidence that was actually evaluated, and why we reached the conclusion not to file criminal charges.